Welcome back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and this week we're taking a look at the Sunday preview. Classic caskets return on made-to-order basis. Hot on the heels of the Slaves to Darkness army set, which hit shelves yesterday, a range of classic chaos models are returning for a limited time. Check out all this week's Warhammer highlights. So we're going to skip through the highlight video, and we'll just check out everything. So we have Archaon, Lord of the End Times. So this was an OG model right here. And honestly, when it came out, this was like revolutionary. I don't think we had really ever seen anything this cool as far as like a horse mount before. But now, obviously, with the new kits and everything like that, this looks extremely dated. I mean, look at how chunky and like thick the cape is right there. That's insane. But cool model nonetheless, and definitely an OG. Archaon may have grown in size and spike since destroying the world that was, but this classic miniature is now back in metal. Whether you're looking for a painting challenge or want to use him as a Chaos Lord in the new Slaves to Darkness army, this iconic miniature is a great addition to any Chaos collection. So very cool, obviously nothing compared to the current Archaon, the Ever-Chosen. So next we have the Khorne Chaos Lord. Again, really cool model right here. Definitely like very, very dated now, looking back at him, but super cool. Always kind of reminded me of like a Khorne version of that old classic pit fighter model, but very cool overall. Again, very, very dated now. Claim skulls for Khorne with the classic champion cast in metal. You can use him in your games of Warhammer Age of Sigmar as Slaves to Darkness Chaos Lord with the Mark of Khorne, obviously, or as an aspiring Deathbringer in your Blades of Khorne force. And I do love that Games Workshop has decided, after watching all of our videos, to start including things like metal and resin in the description, because that is something that people want to know. I constantly had people requesting or asking questions, so very, very cool that Games Workshop is listening and adapting based on that. So glad to see them actually listing if it's resin or metal, or plastic, respectively. So then we have the Nurgle Chaos Lord. To tell you the truth, I only vaguely remember this model. It's definitely got some cool aspects to it. But again, just looks very, very dated. I mean, the face is just absolutely atrocious. But again, you know, a lot of people are collecting these for nostalgic purposes, not because they're like the coolest sculpts that are out there, obviously. So painters and hobbyists look to pick up a classic sculpt can give praise to the Plague Father. Field this metal champion of the Maggotkin of Nurgle army as the Lord of Plagues, or as a Chaos Lord marked with Nurgle to command your slaves to darkness. Or just grab one to try out a few new techniques for painting rust. Next, we have the Slaanesh Chaos Lord. So this guy's really cool. I definitely like the overall look of this. And to tell you the truth, I feel like this overall model is kind of like the aesthetic for the current Slaanesh in Sigmar. He has like kind of the armor that all the newer models kind of have, and just the overall look. Cool model overall, and definitely I think this one was ahead of its time, because this holds up pretty well now, as opposed to most of those other ones. And now keep in mind, some of these are, you know, 10 years old and some are 30. So there's definitely a big time gap between some of these. So see if the path of access leads to success with this classic Slaanesh Chaos Lord, cast in metal. Use him as an alternative Lord of Pain in your Hedonites of Slaanesh army, or command your Slaves to Darkness army as a Chaos Lord with a Mark of Slaanesh. And then next we have the Tzeentch Chaos Lord with Familiar. So pretty cool right here. Pretty cool. I've never been a fan of this actual face right here. You can't really see it from this angle very well, but there's like a face that's looking this way, and then it's like blended into the bird head, which is kind of looking this way. I mean, which is neat and everything. I get what they were going for, but the actual execution, in my opinion, is like terrible. Like the green stuff work, design on like the staff, this is just really, really dated and just looks horrendous to me. It's sort of like when you're experimenting with something for the first time, and it doesn't quite go as planned, but you can see what you were going for. That's what this whole situation looks like to me. Yeah, these look terrible. These look absolutely terrible. It looks like your little brother made them with some green stuff in an afternoon. Just as planned, Tzeentch joins the made-to-order fun. As with their brethren above, this metal cast Sorcerer Lord can be used in the Slaves of Darkness army or added to your Disciples of Tzeentch as a Magister. So the Mounted Chaos Sorcerer is next. This one holds up okay. Pretty cool model overall. Definitely has like a neat little look to it. I kind of like the little horns on the horse. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, let's be real though. The majority of people who are getting these are getting them for like nostalgic purposes. I like that they offer them up so that people don't have to pay like some crazy price if they're just in love with one of these miniatures. Maybe it was a gift when they were a kid and they don't have it anymore. Whatever the situation is, I can understand how people want to go after these. And it's nice to see them. Now, arguably, they're going to come out between like $30 and $50. So I'm not even sure they resale like on eBay or something like that for more or less expensive. I'm not really sure what they go for, but probably at like the $35 to $50 price point. You're probably not like saving people a ton of money or anything. They're just having like easier access maybe. Because I would imagine if you go on eBay and look for like this guy right here, you could probably find one for under whatever GW is going to charge. $50? I don't know. It is what it is though. I do like that they're adding accessibility. My opinion on miniatures is always I would rather have more access and then I can pass on the ones I don't want. So if they're going to bring back old ones, if they're going to make a ton of new ones, I can just not buy the ones that I don't want. I would rather have the options. And I think that's great. That's great. So finally, there's this classic mounted chaos sorcerer, also cast in metal, which might not have rules for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, but they're great for painters and collectors. Or you could use them as a berobed chaos lord on a demonic mount with no specific markings. You could dedicate this miniature to any of the chaos gods or the powers of the undivided as you see fit. All of the miniatures above are available on a made-to-order basis starting next Saturday and ending in the 28th of November at 8 p.m. GMT. Please note that it can take up to 180 days, so 6 months, to supply these kits. Keep up to date with the latest Citadel releases by signing up for our newsletter. So yeah, interesting. Again, I do have to just bring up, I'm really glad that Games Workshop is watching these videos and actually like responding by making the changes that I request. So, whether or not you believe that or whether or not you think I'm being sarcastic right now, regardless, there's change. They are now including whether or not they are resin or metal in the description, which was one of the requests we have made multiple times in these videos. And here we have gotten our way. So regardless, one way or the other, I'm happy to see the changes. Whether or not you think I'm being sarcastic is fine, but just like to have a little fun with it. So next we have the events of the U.S. Open 2022. The U.S. Open 2022 finale is taking place in New Mexico this weekend, and we'll be covering all the action on Warhammer Twitch channel as it happens. All roads have led here, and this weekend will crown the champions of our 2022 event season. You'll be able to watch some of the best 40k and Age of Sigmar players in the world battle it out in the top spot. On Friday, we have games from the inaugural Grand Narrative event, a first-of-its-kind story-driven event, and along with the live games, we'll also have Warhammer Preview Online. Don't miss any of the big reveals. So we have the Week in Warhammer Live, little schedule here. So the Friday event in New Mexico, and then Saturday event in New Mexico, starting at 10 a.m. Friday till 10 a.m. MST and 5 p.m. GMT, or 8 a.m. MST or 3 p.m. GMT. And then we have a preview, which could be pretty cool there. Friday the 18th at 9 p.m. MST or Saturday the 19th at 4 a.m. GMT. So probably going to have to catch up on some of that, depending where you're at a later date, as the time change and everything, or time gaps. So probably not everybody's going to be able to watch that live, depending on where you're located. And then finally we have Sunday's event. The Grand Narrative Finale, 8 a.m. MST and 3 p.m. GMT on Twitch. And then we have from Black Library some ebooks here as well. And just kind of scroll down here, make sure there's no socks hiding at the bottom. And yeah, that looks like it. So a little something coming on Warhammer Plus as well. A little something coming from Black Library. But really, overall, this week, a rather muted release. Just kind of putting out some old stuff for the collectors. Also, these aren't going to come for 180 days, so you got a little time to get caught up on your piles of shame. But the truth is, we just had 2 big army box reveals, one for 40k and one for Sigmar. It's a 2-week pre-order for the Astra Militarum Imperial Guard. So that is already going on. And right on the heels of that, we will have the new boxes for Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. So I imagine that, those will be obviously big sale events. Great deals if you haven't checked out the video breakdown with the value and, my opinion on each of those boxes. Definitely should check those out for 40k and Sigmar. But with, basically 15 new boxes coming in, we're now less than 2 months till the end of the year. And obviously they want to get those out for Christmas. I would imagine that they will not be on next week's, but they'll be on the following week's pre-orders. So in time, obviously, to get them dispersed and theoretically by Christmas, the truth is, you know, they want to be selling those before December. So I would expect end of November. So probably not next week's article, maybe, will be like the preview for them. Or maybe they won't be up for pre-order next week, but it'll be the following week. But I would imagine the end of November, those will be released. We should have a pretty good idea on prices. We speculated they were going to be at the $200 price point. We could see them at $210 or $225. Depends how greedy Games Workshop wants to get, or how badly they're trying to hit their numbers at the end of the year. So I would not put it past them. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. If you enjoyed today's video, please let me know. If you're going to be picking up any of these OG models, let me know which ones and also why. Is there some kind of nostalgic reason that you want these? Do you actually think like this guy's just super, super cool and creepy and you want to get a hold of him? Or do you just like to pick up anything that Games Workshop sells because you are a full-on whale? Always curious. Like to hear from you guys. Appreciate all of the new subscribers, all the likes, comments, all that good stuff. Love interacting with you. Love the community. Just absolutely blessed to have this ability to reach out to you guys and have such an awesome community. So thank each and every one of you. If you haven't already subscribed, we do put out at least one video every single day. Reactions, reviews, and news. Painting, modeling, conversion tutorials. Check out those playlists for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, and of course some Horus Heresy as well. Pretty much any of the Games Workshop tabletop games. And that's it for today. I am Warhammer Man. This is Warhammer Man Studios, and I'm out of here.